All right, how's it going, everybody? Aaron Blevins here with Biscuits by Daddy-O, coming at you today with a video on how to make these delicious blueberry gluten-free biscuits. I'm from the South, I'm from Georgia, grew up eating a pretty well-known biscuit and chicken place in the South that makes these kind of biscuits. Grew up eating them, the non-gluten-free kind, and here at Daddy-O we have cracked the code on how to make them gluten-free and just as delicious. We think they're even better. So I want to show you today how to make these, and it's going to be really simple, and you just use our regular gluten-free mix, or you can use our vegan mix just following the same instructions on the back of the vegan mix. But today we're going to be using just our regular gluten-free biscuit mix, and so let's jump in and see how this is done. First things first, we're gonna open this mix, dump all of it into the bowl. So occasionally, when you dump this into the bowl, usually actually there's a little bit left down in here. I like to go ahead and put this on the surface that I'm going to be flattening my dough out on. So you can just kind of shake the bag and get that little bit of excess on there. It'll help you prevent the dough from sticking to your hands. So next, before we add our heavy whipping cream, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar. What's this gonna do? This is going to sweeten the dough a little bit. So once we do that, we're gonna add the standard amount of heavy whipping cream that's called for on the back of the mix, which is 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. So we're just going to pour this. You're then going to add a little bit of lemon extract. Lemon extract is the really, I think, secret ingredient that really brings this together. And you're only gonna add a teaspoon of lemon extract. You can usually find this at most grocery stores, or you can order it from Amazon if you need to order it from Amazon, however you need to source it. We are also going to add a teaspoon of vanilla to the mix. Everybody loves vanilla. You can add more than a teaspoon if you would like. You know, sometimes when it calls for a teaspoon, you just kind of pour until you're ready. So lastly, we are going to add our blueberries. We use 1 cup of blueberries. We also use frozen blueberries. Now you can use fresh blueberries if you would like. Frozen blueberries tend to be a bit more economical for these biscuits. I will say we have also tried dried blueberries. Those do not tend to work as well. Sometimes certain grocery stores will carry dry blueberries. If you want a biscuit that is a little less wet, you might opt for dry blueberries, but they tend to be a little chewier. I've found that really the best thing to use is frozen blueberries. And so we are going to go ahead and add 1 cup of frozen blueberries here. Once you add the blueberries, you're going to go ahead and just stir all of this in. Get it as combined as you can here. Using up as much of the mix that is on the sides of the bowls. At a certain point, you'll have to transition from your stirrer to your hands. And so I'm going to do that here now. Just going to begin kind of working this with my hands. And then once you can kind of get it mostly together, then you'll move it to your surface. Get anything extra out of the bowl here. You really want to treat this in a very similar fashion to how you would just work the regular biscuits. You don't want to overwork this, but keep in mind that, like I said earlier, this will be a little bit stickier. But that's okay. You want to just kind of work it and fold it over on itself a few times, remembering that the more you fold this, the more layers you're actually going to add to your biscuit. So if you like a very layery biscuit, you know, feel free to fold it a little bit more. So once we get this combined, then we're going to grab our favorite biscuit cutter, and again, we recommend a 2 to 2.5 inch biscuit cutter for all of our biscuits. And then you want to also make sure that your dough is about 1 inch thick when you're ready to cut out your biscuits. So if you remember, from the tip of your finger to your first knuckle on your pointer finger is roughly about 1 inch. You want it to be at least that size when you go to cut your biscuits. Okay, once we have our dough ready here to cut out, we are going to spray a pan. We like to use a regular aluminum or stainless steel pan, and we're gonna grab our trusty biscuit cutter here, the 2.5 incher here, and we're just going to begin cutting out our biscuits and placing them on our pan here. Remember, our regular biscuit mix yields 8 to 10 biscuits, depending on 2 factors: how thick you make your dough and how wide you cut your biscuits out. So you can see here that I made my dough a little bit thicker, and this biscuit cutter actually I think is a little bit over 2.5 inches. And so we're probably going to have about 8 biscuits with this dough. You're gonna bake these at 450 degrees, just like the regular biscuit mix calls for. You're gonna bake these for 12 to 14 minutes, depending on how well and how fast your oven cooks. Okay, now we're gonna make the vanilla topping that goes on top of the blueberry biscuits, the ooey gooey deliciousness, and it's actually pretty easy to make. So you're gonna start with 3/4 cup of powdered sugar. Then we are going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Again, you can be liberal with the vanilla if you'd like to. And then from there, depending on if you added a little bit more or a little bit less powdered sugar, 3 to 4 tablespoons of milk. Then from there, you can just combine all of the ingredients using a whisk. And that's it. And then once your biscuits pop out of the oven, we will add this to the top. All right, so let's check on our biscuits. Looking good. I'd say they're ready. All right, so we've taken our biscuits out and we have our vanilla topping ready. And so once it's in this state, while they're hot, you want to go ahead and just slowly pour this on top of each biscuit. You'll probably hear the pan sizzle a little bit. That's when you know it's going to be really good. Just adding a little bit to each biscuit. And voila, there you have it. Our Daddy-O blueberry biscuits. They're delicious. Again, eat them while they're hot, share them with a friend, and let us know what you think in the comments.